You ready? You said
I'm always
just go.
ready, baby.
All right. What's up? Welcome to another episode of On Again with Andre Glenn, and I am here at Wallapalooza at the Wallapalooza event in the Delta Hotel in Fargo, North Dakota, with none other than Allan A. Wade from A-Dubb Productions. And Allan A. Wade can be found at YouTube, so make sure y'all subscribe to that. And on Instagram, you are
A-Dubb Productions on Instagram.
okay. So thank you so much for taking some time out to sit and talk with me because I have some questions for you regarding the garment decorating industry. So how long have you been in the garment decorating industry?
So I'd say pretty much over 20 years now. On and off, but taking it seriously over the past, I'd say about 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, I watch your content all the time. All right. And for those people that don't know, how many different methods of garment decorating do you have at your shop?
Oh man, that's so I have screen printing, I have direct to garment printing, I have white toner transfer printing, I have embroidery, I have direct to film printing, I have heat transfer vinyl, I have sublimation. So that alone right there is 7 different methods. And then I could take my standard inkjet printer and we can do inkjet transfer. So it's a lot of different methods that I have in my shop, just to name a few.
All right, now you don't have to be exact with this answer.
Okay.
Because I know how much stuff you really have, and it's got to be difficult to be exact with this. But how many different DTFs, DTGs, embroidery machines, sublimation printers, sewing machines do you have? And while you think about that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first person I ever watched actually break down the materials and the fabrics of a denim jean and put it back together. And you even took classes to do that, right?
Yeah.
So how many you got? How much?
I got a lot of pieces of equipment, man. I'd say well over, I don't know, 30 pieces of equipment, well over that. And if we include heat presses, I got about maybe like 13 or 14 heat presses. I got a bunch of equipment.
Oh wow, I forgot about the heat presses. So wait, you also have so I know you got another Rico 1000, correct?
2 R1000 DTG printers, yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's a lot.
Yeah. So if you wanted me to break it down, I have about 6, 7, 8. In my studio, I have about 7 multi-needle embroidery machines. Single needle embroidery machines, I have about 8 of those, the single needle ones. I have 3 sublimation printers. I have 2 direct to garment printers. I have 2 DTF printers. I have 3 different types of sewing machines, as well as the single needle sewing machines also embroider. I have laser cutter, a bunch of stuff, man. Just a bunch of stuff. Anything that I think I can not only profit from, but I can educate others on how to use and they can make money from, I invest in it if I see it as a valid source that other people can supplement or replace their income with.
Yeah, and just to speak on that briefly, you operated all of those things by yourself up until this year, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And you got a tunnel, right? The tunnel, the DT. Wait,
I call it the embroidery tunnel.
The embroidery tunnel, which is very inspiring. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go subscribe to his channel and take a look at what he's doing, because he is definitely moving forward and making moves. You know, so which of these machines would you feel is the most expensive thing to get into?
I think the most expensive medium to get into is probably screen printing, because there's so many different angles that you can go with screen printing, and what's involved Other people might beg to differ, but with screen printing, you got to not only have your screen printing press, and in order to automate it, you have to have an automatic press. But it's just not the press alone; it's also the process of getting getting your screens onto the press. If you do it the traditional way, it would entail having a dark room, an exposure unit, and many other different pieces of equipment go into just before you even put your screen. And then when you want to reclaim the screen, you got to have a washout booth and do it properly. So it's a bunch that's included. But besides screen printing, I would say embroidery is probably like the second most expensive, and then your DTF printers, you know, yeah. So.
Okay, all right. I'm surprised. I would think that it would be somewhere along the lines of embroidery or probably DTG.
Yeah, I mean DTG. The prices of DTGs, depending on what DTG printer, has come down a lot. Like right now, I have RR1000s. The price of that has significantly reduced, but you can get an Epson F2100 now for about 11,000 brand new. So the price of DTG has come down a lot. So DTG not so much. Yeah, whereas though a single needle embroidery machine, a multi-needle embroidery machine could be about 16 grand if you finance, 15 grand, depending on what machine you go with, of course. But I use ROMEO, so yeah. But again, well, not again, but the price point to entry versus how much money you can make, it's like a no-brainer to enter the field, because like you can supplement or replace your income with these pieces of equipment. And I always tell people, like, if you're worried about the price right now, you shouldn't be worried about it, because you're going to end up spending the money anyway on a new car, or over time buying clothes and stuff like that. You're going to end up spending the money anyway. So you might as well invest in your business, invest in yourself, invest in your dream, invest in your vision. And over time, even if you don't have a solid game plan together right now, over time it's going to grow. Your game plan is going to come to fruition, slow and steady. But the first hurdle to jump over is just get your equipment and get your feet wet and start playing with your equipment, so you can get proficient and get better in your equipment, so that you can start making money.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Now, of all the methods that you deal with, which one would you consider to be the most time consuming of direct to garment, or not direct to garment, of all the what is that, garment decorating methods?
All the garment decorating methods, I would say the most time consuming, like from start to finish, that's a tough question, because every single method has its give and takes, and I try to create efficient methods of producing a garment in each different method. Like, for example, embroidery, in order to pump out more volume, you increase the amount of heads that you have, the amount of embroidery machines that you have, so you can produce more pieces in a shorter amount of time. With DTG, depending on the speed of if you're pre-treating shirts by hand, or if you have multiple machines, then you can pump out volume fast. I'd say most time consuming, I would probably say DTG. I'll probably say DTG, because you have to pre-treat the shirts, dry the shirts, then they have to go onto the DTG machine. They have to get printed on, and then they have to be cured. So that's probably the most time-consuming method, But there are ways that you can shorten up that, by adding more DTG printers and adding more heat presses, so that you can speed up the pre-treating the shirt process.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So now I have a question for you.
Of course.
All right. What would you consider the operating differences of, what would you consider the difference of operating a DTF machine for yourself versus just going and getting transfers from somewhere else, outsourcing?
So this is it. If you're going to get transfers, if you're going to buy transfers from a transfer company, obviously you're making shirts, right? You're not selling transfers. If you buy a DTF machine, you have two businesses, right? So if you have a DTF machine, you can make shirts, because you can produce transfers and you can press the transfers onto shirts, but you can also produce transfers yourself, so you can also produce and sell transfers. So it's two businesses in one, versus if you're buying DTFs. you can sell the transfers that you're buying, but you'd have to mark it up in order to make profit versus just having a DTF printer and you can sell the transfers as well as make the shirt. So one method, you're just making a shirt. The other method, owning the equipment, you have two businesses in one. You're selling, you could sell transfers and you could also produce garments yourself.
Okay.
You know.
So, all right, for people thinking the same for DTG, right? What would be the difference of somebody actually purchasing that DTG machine, owning and operating it, versus doing POD or outsourcing POD, or actually going and getting transfers and accomplishing?
What will be the differences? Okay, so first of all, print on demand is something that you shouldn't even, and well, I won't say shouldn't. If you don't want to own any equipment, if you're not interested in owning any equipment, if you're not interested in getting your hands dirty and producing, if you're not interested, if you don't have a steady hand and you think you can't lay the transfer down on your shirt in the dead center and can't have consistent results, then print on demand is absolutely something that you can consider. If you like having more control over your business and you want to really get your feet wet so you can later on explore the opportunities of print on demand, then you should probably invest in your own equipment. But I believe that it is absolutely worth, especially when you're first starting off in the business, it's worth getting your feet wet with the equipment, because if you don't own the equipment and use the equipment first to explore it as an opportunity, then you won't understand necessarily if you're getting a good print on demand service, right? So there's many different ways to look at it. Then again, you could get more profit margin if you're producing the garment yourself. The trade-off is that you're spending your time producing the garment. So it's all, the good thing about all those methods that you mentioned is the fact that everybody has a method that they can take. You can not want to put your hands on equipment and not want to buy anything, or you could outsource, or you can go right in the middle and you can just buy some equipment and you can buy transfers and just press shirts. So the important thing to take advantage of is the fact that there's so many different opportunities for you to get involved, right? So it's the different methods, different methods each person might take. That's significant, it's important, but ultimately what's really important is the fact that if you don't want to do this, this is an option. If you don't want to do this, this is an option. So options is always a good thing for everybody.
All right. So, all right, let me ask you, somebody that's considering, that doesn't know which way to go. It's a fork in the road. They know they want some equipment. They know they want to start either producing their own equipment with the option of making products for others.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you suggest a person? Which direction would you suggest a person go in? DTG or DTF?
Mm-hmm. Right now, I would suggest DTG. I mean, no, DTF right now. Right now, I suggest going DTF. Reason being is because DTG, the machines and operating it is really intricate. And what you're looking for initially when you're starting off is you're looking for consistency, you're looking for delivering a quality product. And unless you know the intricacies of a DTG machine and you spend time with it, your results will sometimes be inconsistent. Like, you won't produce the same exact shirt every single time. So if a customer is expecting this, they see this online, you're advertising that, they expect to get that. With DTG, there's different variables. Like, when you pre-treat the shirt, you need to pre-treat that shirt the same way every single time. And if you're pre-treating with a sprayer versus a pre-treat machine, you can get different results, right? And if if your humidity is off in the room or something changes, it can produce a different image. So with DTF, you can get consistent results every single time. So I would say DTF right now.
Wow.
I would say DTF.
So what do you feel like is the future of DTG and DTF?
I think they have to figure out a way to, I think there's room in the industry for both mediums, because as much as I said DTF is great, DTF still does not beat the feel of a DTG printed shirt. So I think there's room for both. I think every piece of equipment is valuable to have in your arsenal, because what happens is when you get a request from a potential customer, or when you get a request from a customer, you know just by using the equipment what method will be more efficient and what method would produce the best results for that customer's request. Like, for example, if somebody's coming to you and they want, just regular one color text on a shirt, you have options. Vinyl could be great. If the customer does not want vinyl, then you can go DTF. DTF will be great, consistent result. DTG, maybe not so much, because producing just a simple one text, then you gotta, pre-treat the shirt, and there's different methods. But then again, DTG might be good for that. I mean, it all depends on what you feel like doing that day. So, like I said, it's about options, having options.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is Allan A. and people can follow you on Instagram at
A-Dubb Productions on Instagram.
And they can follow you. I know you got a TikTok too, right?
TikTok, A-Dubb Productions 2 on TikTok. Yep.
And then also the main stage, YouTube, and that is
YouTube, A-Dubb Productions on YouTube also.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So